What's up everyone, welcome back to the comic book video. Now today we're going to be talking about a very special comic book, but before I begin I just want to say thank you so much for showing support on the previous comic book videos and also on the gaming aspect of my channel and on the live streams and the further support you do during the live streams. But again folks, let's go ahead and talk about the book that I've been actually waiting on for quite a while, and it is the new Superman. That's right folks, this is the new Superman. He's basically, well, he's Superman obviously. I mean, I don't have to explain that one. That's kind of pretty self-explanatory. But anyways, this Superman is a Chinese Superman, and he goes by the name of Kenan, I believe. I think I said that correctly. I think that's the way to pronounce the name. But when I first read the book, as I mentioned in my comic book haul video, I didn't really enjoy how the origin started. But then after reading it again, I had to read it again like 2 more times to make sure that I can do this video right. It kind of grew on me. It kind of made more sense why they chose this approach, and to me, it felt more of like we needed to see a Superman that kind of struggled instead of a Superman that was already, you know, owning up to the mantle and becoming this very heroic, perfect person. But that's not the case in this one. This one actually starts off in a weird way, because at first I thought it was this kid that showed up in the beginning that was called, I believe, Leixen? I'm sorry, like I mentioned before folks, I'm really bad with names, so bear with me on this one. But at first I thought it was this kid that was literally in the first page. But when you flip the page, as the dialogue as you're reading it, you're like, oh my god, this is definitely not the way I expected it to start off in. Basically, Leixen's being bullied by Kong. And again, folks, I apologize if I don't say the name right. And then at first I thought this is going to be the Superman. And for a second I'm like, yo, this doesn't look like the guy on the cover, so obviously this isn't going to be Superman. But then you flip the page and you're like, oh man, the actual Superman, or the person that becomes Superman, is being a bully. This is definitely a different take on what I was really expecting. But again, this is why I said I read it like 2 more times to enjoy it, because now I actually get it. Now I can understand. Maybe it's just my take on, I'm a better Batman fan than I am as a Superman fan, but this one, folks, is a really get it. So basically what happens is he's being a bully. The kid that he's bullying, Leixen, throws his food at him, and then they starts to run away. Kong's chasing him, and then finally they meet up with this super villain that goes by the name of the Blue Condor. He's one of China's most American style like villain. I think it was the first villain to show up in there. I think that's what it said in the book. But anyways, he sees him holding Leixen, and Kong's looking from below because Blue Condor's in the friggin' sky holding the kid. And then what does Kong do? He grabs his juice or the soda and just throws it. Like literally just chucks the damn thing. No superpowers, but let's just go ahead and be a hero for today. And then he looks at the kid that he was being a bully to, and he tells him to run, even though he was trying to tell himself to run. But in the dialogue he says, I'm not sure if I'm telling myself or him to run. So he runs. The Blue Condor doesn't hurt Kong. He actually just, I think he just gets up to his face and he flies away, and then everyone around's cheering for him. Because at this point you're kind of wondering, wait, what was the purpose of that? Why didn't he hit Kong? Why didn't he take the kid? Which is something that still goes on in my mind throughout this entire comic book, because as I'm explaining and reviewing it and giving you a summary of it, you're gonna even wonder, wait, what? If you pick up the comic book yourself. He ends up being interviewed. Now the person that he's being interviewed by is called Lenny Lan. My god, I'm really bad at pronouncing names. But anyway, she shows him a video of him being heroic, and she's told him that she uploaded on the internet and everyone's seeing it already, that they're freaking out, like this kid just, you know, went up against the Blue Condor. And she tries to get his name, and, you know, obviously he tells the name, and she says later on she wants to have an interview at home with his dad. But unfortunately, as he gets home, the father is actually really pissed at him, rather than being, you know, very proud of him and, you know, playing the whole father figure, like, you know, I'm proud of you, son. But his father was really pissed of his actions, and when Kong tried to explain to him that they're going to be interviewed, his father says that he has more important things to do. When Kong tries to explain to him that, Dad, I could have died today, but his father comes back again and says, son, there are more important things to do. Something about bringing the truth, justice, and democracy, and the things that he and his little writer groups are doing. They're really big on like this whole conspiracy theories, and his little part is literally him saying that they finally dug up enough dirt on some specific person where they can probably abolish whatever it is that the guy was doing. But I think at that point you kind of feel sorry for Kong, because, I mean, think about it. Your parents not being excited or being proud of you for doing something very heroic, that kind of sucks, man. It really does. Jesus, what kind of father is that? So after Kong tried to talk to his dad, he actually ends up going to the graveyard where his mother is buried. Now this part gets a little bit interesting, because at this point he gets approached by a lady who tells him that she has an opportunity for him. And they've actually been monitoring him for a while, which is kind of creepy. She tells him that in the past 2 years, he hasn't visited her grave, but he chose to visit today, which is, you know, the day of the comic book specifically. And at that point, she tries to show him that the world needs a Superman. She tries to tell him that there's an experiment that they can do where he can actually become a hero. She shows him a clip of Superman, you know, holding on to an airplane and preventing it from falling down. But the kid was actually very excited because he knew that there was no way that somebody normal could have gotten a clip like that, because it wasn't just your generic like news reporter clip. This one was a very detailed, very up close type of deal, and you really got to see Superman in his little action moment, kind of like how we see it in like a panel or something. It's basically how he was reading it or seeing it in the video. So finally he gets to this place where they're gonna do the experiment on him. He signed a bunch of contracts and stuff, you know, legally. If something goes wrong, they're not responsible for it. They give him this like red suit, which is kind of like what you see on the cover. And personally, it looks really good. I like it. I like the suit. So they have him go inside his little chamber thing, which, if you don't understand what I'm trying to say, it's more of like, picture the Captain America movie when he goes inside the little chamber and he comes out like all masculine and stuff. So they put him in there and they throw in like a bunch of chemicals inside. Now he starts to panic and he starts to get flashbacks of his mother. And as that's going on, the kid's freaking out inside his container, and the test is about to fail, but the lady says, no, we can't stop. If he passes out or dies, we're still gonna find out anyway. So she lets the test continue even though it's flaring up inside. And then finally, the kid just bursts out of the thing and he's flying in the air and he screams for his mom. And I thought that was one of the most interesting takes. It was actually kind of sad, to be honest. It was kind of sad. And it's sad because what he yells out is, I won't let you die, repeatedly. And personally, that just really took a big one. But like I said, he's floating right there in the air, and the lady's telling him, like, you know, come back down because now the test actually works. So they start to notice that his eyes got red, and the heat vision things just ended up happening, and kind of did a number on the place. And then something so interesting happens at the end of the book where I stared at the panel for like a good minute or two, just going like, yo, I'm excited for issue 2. We get the Batman and Wonder Woman of China, and their suits are so legit. Like you don't understand. I'm a huge fan when it comes to characters having different takes on it. Specifically, like if you're a longtime comic book reader, I'm pretty sure some of you know the things that are called the What If series from Marvel, the Elseworlds from DC, and I'm huge on things like that. I'm huge of certain stories, you know, what would happen if this happened. Like, I believe there's one I can recommend you guys right now, and it's called Superman Red Sun. It's where Superman crash lands in Russia instead of America, and the story kind of like changes around a bit, and it's a really good read. I definitely recommend you guys to check it out. Maybe one day I'll do a video on it, but yeah, anyways folks, that is it for the video, because there's nothing else to say on this issue other than I really did enjoy it, and hopefully you enjoy the video enough to either go get it yourself, or you actually enjoyed the comic yourself and you just wanted to see other people's opinions on it. Personally, I enjoyed it. At first I thought the origin was kind of iffy, but reading it again, I'm okay with it. It actually grew on me. I actually enjoyed it. But yeah folks, anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like, and if you want to share among your friends, I mean, you can if you want. If not, it's cool. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and end the video off here. You guys still have another video where you're gonna see me wearing this shirt, and it's gonna be another comic book video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And that's pretty much it folks. Thanks so much for watching.